Well, hello, ladies. Let's start that again. Oh my gosh. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Thurston Talk podcast brought to you by Olympic Sotheby's International Realty. My name is Philip Kerrigan. I am the host of the show. I'm joined, of course, as always, by Joshua Heath, our producer. I'm going to include him today, so be ready for this one. Today we're talking about a topic near and dear to my heart. I've personally been involved in nonprofit work for a long time, and this group has become a huge tool for nonprofits in this area, and that is the Community Foundation of the South Puget Sound and their giving initiative, Give Local, which happens every year, November, in the first part of November. This year, it's November 6th through the 17th. So while you're hearing this podcast or watching these podcasts or seeing these clips on social media, it's going on hot and heavy at the moment you see them. So you can make sure that you hop on to their website. We'll give you that website in a little bit. Give Local is a giving initiative that was started by the Community Foundation a few years ago. Mindy will go through the history, but it has raised a ton of money for nonprofits here in Thurston County, Mason County, and I think it was Lewis, wasn't he? She said it was Lewis. And so it's just a really neat way for people who live in this community, the folks who listen to this type of show, to be able to help with causes that they care about in their neighborhoods. So we can't wait to kind of sit down with her and have you hear everything she has to say about the Community Foundation and Give Local. Before we do that, however, I want to hit you with some stats on giving. Here, some of these are stats that are kind of countrywide here in the United States, but we also have a few that are here in Washington State. In terms of giving here in the United States of America, $485 billion are given annually to charities here in the United States of America, and 78 million people volunteer for charity each year here in the U.S. So giving to charity, supporting charities, giving to causes is a huge part of who we are, not only here locally, but as a country. Here in Washington State, there are 41,185 charities alone here in Washington State. Now, good news is, with Give Local, that will not be an issue for you. Sometimes with that many charities, a little bit paralysis by analysis, the Community Foundation has done a really good job of helping narrow down that for you. Here's where I'm going to bring in Joshua. Joshua, question. Wallet Hub is a website that tracks charitable giving and kind of ranks the states for charitable giving and volunteer hours. Can you tell me, just take a guess, where Washington State ranks overall in the country out of all 50 states in charitable giving? 20. He says 20. That's pretty close. 15th. We're not actually too bad. 15th out of 50. That's the top third. You have a lot of faith in people from Washington State. Nice job, Joshua. So yeah, we rank 15th overall in charitable giving. That kind of is it's an amalgam of different things put together by Wallet Hub, volunteer hours, how much money folks give, per capita gifts, all that sort of different stuff. So we are a very charitable state, and I really believe, in having met a lot of folks around here in Thurston, we're a very charitable area. And you'll see that reflected in what Mindy has to say about the Community Foundation and Give Local. I'm not going to talk too much anymore. I'm going to toss it to the interview with Mindy Ruley. She is the CEO of the Community Foundation of South Puget Sound. Yep. Here is that interview. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a real treat. We got a real-life CEO in the house, Mindy Ruley from the Community Foundation of the South Puget Sound. Mindy, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So the Community Foundation of South Puget Sound, I bet you some people have heard that name, don't quite know what it means, actually don't even necessarily quite know what a community foundation necessarily is, but you guys in a short period of time have become quite impactful here in Thurston County. Can you talk a little bit about sort of let's start with what exactly a community foundation is? And then we'll hit on the history of you guys here in this area.
Okay.
So
Sounds
what?
good.
Yeah. So what is? Can you walk us through a little bit about what a community foundation is?
So there are about 800 community foundations across the country, and we exist to hold, steward, and mobilize charitable dollars for a geographic place.
Yeah.
So a lot of the funds that we manage are endowments, so meant to be permanent funds for the community. And community foundations hold many different funds from many different donors. Different funds have different criteria attached to them. Some are scholarships, some are unrestricted funds, some are funds with a particular category like the environment or youth or things like that. And so community foundations hold those charitable dollars and then get that money put to good use out into the community.
Yeah. Yeah, and for you, the Community Foundation of the South Puget Sound, how long have you been here in this community? How did it even start?
Well, we were started in response to a community vision session in the mid-'80s. And there was this question, how are we going to fund our community's vision? And the answer was a community foundation. Again, this place to hold, steward, and mobilize charitable dollars for the community.
Yeah.
So now here, 1989, what is that? 34 years later, we now manage 125 different funds, each established by a different donor, and $36 million in charitable assets. And annually, we make about $2.5 million out into the community in grants and scholarships every year.
That is unbelievable. And who can come to you and say, because the folks who sponsor this show, Olympic Sotheby's, also owned by Jim Green, he has the Green Giving Fund, which I know the agents at Olympic Sotheby's give into. That's just one example. What are the type of people who typically come to you and ask you to help manage their endowments?
We work with lots of different donors who have lots of different passions and causes that they want to support in the community. A lot of times we work with people who want to leave a gift to the community in their will or estate plans, because we can hold and steward those dollars for many years into the future. We work with families who want to make charitable giving part of their family. We also hold endowments for other nonprofit organizations.
Awesome.
So really it's a variety of different kinds of donors and community members that we work with.
Do you have a lot of folks, because you mentioned a lot of times people come to you with kind of intentions of where they want their charitable funding to go to. Do you have folks who just kind of come to you and say, I don't really know where I want this to go. Can you help me? Is that something that you see a lot?
It is something we do. And in fact, it's one of the reasons that there are many options for donor advised funds are one kind of fund that we manage. And there are many options for where you could have a donor advised fund, but we're sort of like the farmers market of donor advised funds, the sort of the very local option where donors can work with us and have their donor advised fund at the community foundation. And we can be involved with telling them about what's going on in the community, connecting to other donors, connecting them to causes that they care about. We call it philanthropic advising.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I like that. Yeah. How many community foundations like you do you know offhand are here in Washington State even?
There's about 25 of us in Washington. So the Community Foundation of South Puget Sound serves Thurston, Mason, and Lewis County, and others serve different counties across the country.
Okay. So you still, I mean, like even just a handful here in Washington State. It's such a really neat concept because I think, in sort of my past with nonprofits, one of the things that would happen is you would feel overwhelmed by the need, right? If you were a donor, you'd be like, I don't even know where to start, right? To have a community foundation that like gives you a sense of focus if you're a person who wants to create a fund, I think is hugely beneficial to people who are trying to really make their community a better place.
Yeah, and the other thing that we can do is needs and opportunities change over time, right? So even donors who have a really clear idea about what they want to support, years into the future, that might change, and that's why that flexible model of the community foundation is great. Yeah.
As we go into break, can you tell people, because we're going to hit folks with two different sites today. We're going to hit them with the Give Local site, which we'll talk a little bit about when we come back from break. But the main one we also want to hit on is the Community Foundation's website. Where can people find more information about what it is the Community Foundation does?
You can visit us at thecommunityfoundation.com.
There it is. Thecommunityfoundation.com. It's super simple. People can do it.
People can do it.
People can do
Yep.
this one.
Yep.
All right, so when we come back from break, we're going to talk a little bit about this really neat phenomenon that has been happening over these last few years that is called Give Local. It's been a huge moneymaker for nonprofits in the area. We'll be right back. Today's episode of the Thurston Talk podcast is brought to you by Olympic Sotheby's International Realty. Olympic Sotheby's International Realty was founded in 2005 as the Green Realty Group and has been proudly serving home buyers and sellers in our community ever since. With more than 45 brokers and a team of dedicated full-time staff, Olympic SIR is here to help you with your real estate needs in Olympia and beyond. What sets Olympic Sotheby's International Realty apart is that you are not just another transaction to the brokers here at Olympic SIR. Their focus is spending time with you so that you feel comfortable throughout the entire real estate transaction. The motto of Olympic Sotheby's International Realty is as unique as the Northwest, and they live this sentiment every day. Their brokerage was founded locally and houses people who care about their community, which means you will have an advocate you can trust. Find an agent or start perusing local properties today at www.olympicsir.com and make sure to follow them on Facebook and Instagram. And now, back to the show. Back from break to talk about a phenomenal, it's not a little giving initiative. It's become a big giving initiative here locally. It's something that I think people are seeing over these last few years. It's generated a lot of promotion and a lot of money, made a big impact in this community, and that is Give Local, which is run by the Community Foundation. Can you talk a little bit about what Giving Local is?
Yeah. So Give Local is an online giving campaign hosted by the Community Foundation where every November, for 2 weeks in November, you can go to spsgives.org and there's a variety of local nonprofits and local causes featured in this community. And we're asking people to go and give and make a donation to those causes. One exciting part about Give Local is the bonus fund. We raise a $100,000 bonus fund, and that means every donation is stretched by this bonus fund. So if a nonprofit raises 2% of everything raised during Give Local, they get 2% of that bonus fund.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, so it really boosts your dollar when you make those charitable gifts.
Yeah, and the other thing you were mentioning as we were off air is the fact that on top of that little incentive, the credit card fees, which oftentimes actually trip up donors, like they get a little bit like, oh man, those have been covered as well. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, thanks to our generous sponsors, all of the credit card fees are covered during Give Local. So when you give a gift to a local nonprofit during Give Local, 100% of that goes straight to the charity, plus that extra bonus fund. So, and that's again thanks to our generous sponsors who help make that happen.
So cool.
Yeah,
that is fantastic. And I mean, I know people have heard of things like Give Big because it got this huge profile in Seattle, but this is kind of that for this part of the state.
Yeah, this is that. And that's why we started it. We wanted something more local than Give Big. We wanted to create a culture of generosity here in our community. We wanted to tell people about that supporting causes happening right here and supporting the people leading those causes right here and giving locally was very important. And then we also wanted to help raise awareness about nonprofits. Yeah. Every year we hear from donors that they learn about new causes or new organizations in the community.
Yeah, I think that's a big deal too, is introducing folks down here to nonprofits that they might care about quite a bit. How much has given, because we talked about the impact it's made. Let's talk exactly about the impact. How much has Give Local actually raised here in this community?
Well, this will be year 7. Yeah. So over the previous 6 years of Give Local, we've raised more than $2.9 million for local nonprofits.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
And I really encourage people to get out there and take a look at this because for every dollar you give, there's an opportunity for it to be matched, which is really, really neat. What can people kind of expect from these next 2 weeks? We're going, so the calendar looks like November 6th through the November 17th, correct?
Correct.
Those are the 2 weeks we're going. So by the time this airs, we're going to be in it.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing Give Local.
Yeah.
And so we encourage people to take a look. What can people expect from this year's Give Local?
Well, this year is our biggest number of nonprofits participating ever, with 130 nonprofits from Thurston, Mason, and Lewis County. We make sure every nonprofit has their 501c3 status with the IRS and is all kind of checked out with the Secretary of State. But really, you go on that website, spsgives.org, and you'll see a whole list of nonprofits to choose from.
Yeah, that is awesome. Where can they go? Where can people go to find this information? You mentioned the site. We're going to hit the site again because I think it's super important. What is the site that people go specifically for Give Local?
Yeah, for Give Local, you can visit spsgives.org, and that stands for South Puget Sound Gives.org.
There you go, spsgives.org. The website will lead you to view 130 different charities. Everybody will have a charity, a nonprofit that connects with the cause they care about. And if you give to them, there's like a little sweet bonus check in there for the charities. I know for the charities around here, for the nonprofits around here, it has become a real important couple of weeks from the block off. There is a real energy around Give Local for the nonprofits, because I think that there was a vacuum here for a long time and they didn't get a chance to do that.
Yeah, and what we hope is that energy, that noise, all that social media noise helps inspire people to give who have never thought about giving to a charity before, right? I hope that noise creates more people giving to our local causes.
Absolutely. One of the things I with a lot of folks that I talk to about charitable giving, especially, I think, younger folks, as they kind of, because, younger folks, I just get so much more information because it's all at their fingertips. They have so much more information than I did when I was a kid. But it can also be intimidating because you can look at the world and think, oh my gosh, there's all these problems. Even you can see it here, homelessness, hunger, different areas where there's a need, and you can become overwhelmed and not give to anything. The really neat thing about something like Give Local is with the 130 charities, it becomes a manageable search. And my advice to givers and young people is, pick a cause and then find something in that cause, find a charity in that cause that you can give to that makes you feel good. And Give Local is the perfect opportunity for people to do that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. One of the reasons we started Give Local is because we wanted to show the power of that collective giving, right? You don't have to be Bill Gates to make a difference, right? Your $10, $20 donation makes a difference, and Give Local shows the power of that collective giving. Yeah. The average gift during Give Local is under $200, even though that total is, close to $1 million.
Yeah, so. And that is the coolest, the power of community. The power of community. Well, Mindy, we want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast and talking about this really neat thing that this community does. That is Give Local, runs from November 6th through November 17th. Take a look at it, spsgives.org. You can go there and check out all the different nonprofits that are, and even they can give from that site, right? They can start giving right then and there. Excellent. So we want to thank you for coming on and really sharing a really cool thing that we do here locally.
Thanks for having me.